Why do women ghost men when it comes to dating? I'm going to answer this question and I have some insights, but I'm going to do it with some help from this lovely lady. Well, maybe not so lovely in this video, where, as you can see by the title right here, she's teaching other women how to properly ghost men. Now, her point in the video, that's how to do it nicely, which is not such thing, right? We literally had to invent a new word in English language because of this recent new behavior that for some reason has become acceptable. Well, not to me. Now, I know ghosting happens, in every single aspect of our lives, especially when it comes to Western cultures, like in America. One of many reasons why I left America and now live right here in Southeast Asia. If you want to figure out how you can do that, go to the millionmanproject.com. There's every single step of the way. I'll walk you through it. However, let's concentrate on this because let's be very clear. And today we're going to talk about specifically women ghosting men in the dating context. Let's be very clear. Ghosting is disrespectful. If you ghost, you should improve yourself. You know, yes, maybe it has become acceptable to some people, but I would suggest to you that if you accept other people ghosting you, you don't have enough self-respect for yourself, which is the majority of men in America and in European Western countries. This is what my channel is all really about, is that men need to find some self-respect when it comes to women. Accepting this behavior is not good for us. It's essentially saying to women, it's okay, you can disrespect us, you're not going to have any penalties for this, we're going to be perfectly fine with it. It is not okay to ghost. If you ghost, please don't do that in dating, in business. No, it is extremely disrespectful. We used to be all adults where we would say in this case, like, hey, listen, it was nice chatting with you, but I don't feel a connection, so I wish you the best of luck, but I'm going to move on. It's not that fucking hard to say, right? But somehow, and we've all done it for a long, 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 long time, except for a few years ago, as this whole clusterfuck has started, um, it has become acceptable. I would suggest to you that ghosting, a man being ghosted by a woman, is the most common outcome in your communication with a woman, whether you met her on a dating app or in person or through even friends and family. That is the most common outcome. And sometimes that ghosting happens, a lot of times ghosting happens, as you probably know, when you are expecting her to show up to a date. So you would get ghosted and you would get you stood up. Now, there are ways how to avoid that. And I do this all the time because even here in Thailand, ghosting and being stood up for a date is one of the most common outcomes. And even for a guy like me who screens the shit out of these girls, right? It is what it is. As a matter of fact, I was just talking to a friend of mine, and he's lived here for 10 years. He speaks Thai, means that he has access to all Thai women, not just a small number who speak English, which is the case for most foreigners here. And that's why they do so poorly with women in Thailand. And this is why I'm learning Thai. All right. So now that we kind of established that, and I got to say, it's kind of weird that she made this video because she has plenty of videos on her channel about, sort of advocating for men in dating. And we're going to go over three of those videos tomorrow because there are three very good questions that she asked and kind of dug into. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I live stream and I review these videos on daily basis. Plus, I hope I post a little 1 minute video for you guys every day on every single platform out there. So don't forget to subscribe. Let's get going. Let's see what she has to say. And I'm going to go back to the beginning. Let's go.
If you're not good at goodbyes, this video is for you. If you've been ghosted before and you're still like hurting from it, this video is not for you.
Well, so here's the thing. this video is for you, because this gives you an inside look of why this happens. Now, does she reveal every single thing about why men get ghosted? No. Once we're done reviewing it, or maybe right in the middle, I will tell you why. Because I have literally paid women with drinks, really, when I saw them after they ghosted me. I said, listen, I'll buy you a drink, whatever drink you want. I don't care. It's $25, $30 drink. If you tell me honestly why. Now, this was back in the day, like 3 or 4 years ago, when I really just still was trying to figure out what's going on, right? And I said, some of my other friends started doing that because we just needed to figure out what's going on. We kind of know what's going on now. Um, and, I would get the most fucking insane, stupidest answers. Now, let me say something actually very serious before I go on, because, as this becomes normal for women to do, I don't think it becomes that normal for men. I think a lot of men who essentially demand number one thing from a woman, which is respect, still absolutely feel disrespected. Now, even in my case, where there's a plenty of women here to date, there's never a shortage. I have a million different matches on dating apps or in person. It's a paradise for men here. But even I still will forever feel disrespected every time somebody does that to me, specifically women in a dating situation. So that will never change. That will never change. It's always going to be disrespectful. Um, what I think is going to happen is men will start, but imagine, because imagine a man who only has one match a month, or in one date, first date in 3 months, and he put a lot of effort, maybe chatted more with the girl than normally he should have, dressed up for the date, got a haircut for the date, picked a nice restaurant, washed his car, and here he is, either just being stood up or being ghosted. I believe that in the future, some men who will get desperate enough, and again, I'm in no way advocating for this. This is not okay to do. I'm just sitting here predicting what I think is going to happen. And we've seen already some signs as men will start confronting women. Some men will end up showing up to women's places and, places of work, and confronting them. And in many cases, it probably will get ugly, and it will probably take a direction that it shouldn't. Because I think this is where it's unfortunately going to go, because sooner or later, at some point, something's got to give. So it is not an okay thing to do. And again, if you're a man ghosting women, because I know that happens too, please become a better man, and don't do that. So in my story, when I asked one of the girls a while back, many years ago, like, hey, listen, thought we had a date, so here, I'll buy a drink, you can say whatever you want, but if you're bullshitting me, I'm not buying you a drink, because don't bullshit me. So she didn't. She basically said that, yeah, I ghosted you because you were texting too much. And I was like, well, okay, if I was texting too much, well, can I ask? I still have the same question. Like, I understand you didn't want to talk to me anymore, but why ghost? Like, you could have just said, hey, listen, it doesn't seem like we have the right chemistry. Now, this girl knew that we were going to see each other again, because I've met her through mutual friends at the place that I hang out all the time, used to, in Oakland, California. So she absolutely knew we were going to see each other. And she didn't know how I was going to react, right? I could have embarrassed her in front of her friends. I could have confronted her, like so. It's amazing to me that some of these women don't think that once they do it, they actually make an enemy, and they might run into that person, in the future, on purpose or not. So then I decided, okay, well, that makes no sense. But that's the only way how she thought would be the best way to handle it. But then I went back to my messages. I said, I don't really think I talked to her that much. And indeed, I looked at, like my last groups of messages, and I never text, and I don't recommend that you guys ever text women for more than 2 lines, right? Because they cannot fucking handle it, right? If you like, have you noticed, if you ask a woman 2 questions, right, she most likely not going to be able to answer either one of them. But if she does, it will just be one, right? A second question, as a matter of fact, she will answer the second question, but not the first, right? That's how their brains work. And it's not because they're stupid, it's because they don't give a fuck. Because and this is why ghosting has become so acceptable, is because there's so many of you simps out there, especially in America, that are willing to give these women attention and validation and money and all that shit. They don't care. Now, these women don't really know what good men are anymore, and we went over that in yesterday's live stream, because they've been raised by single mothers and simp fathers, so they cannot distinguish really a simp from a good man. To them, a good man is too much work, right? Well, I have to behave myself, I have to be respectful. That's a lot of work. No. And then there are simps that are very easy to deal with, right? As a matter of fact, they give these women everything that these women need, right? Which is two things: attention and money. What a life, right? But then at the end of the day, they don't want to marry these guys. They don't want to date them because they actually want men. And on we go to this catch 22 vicious cycle. But ghosting has become normal because women say, well, we have so many other dudes. We like literally sometimes they forget that they were talking to you because you were one of 20 guys that were talking to you. Now, you're probably going to say, Alex, well, this is really shitty time management. What an idiot. Yeah, when it comes to dating, women are stupid. Women are really the worst species in the world when it comes to etiquette and being smart about what kind of partner they pick. Really, like earthworm has better sense of what their partner should be. And that's just how it is around the world, even here in Thailand. And like I said, guys, before we go, well, let's take another listen real quick.
Like, skip it. So I made a video on Instagram about how someone asked a question like, how do you break up with someone? I said unpopular, opinion, but I ghost people. That's what I do. And I've done that from early age. So this isn't like maybe something I would necessarily do now. I mean, I probably actually would, but I'm not good with goodbyes.
Yeah, so as you can see, she makes no excuses for it. She just says, listen, I'm a shitty human being and there is no punishment for that, so I do it. And guys, this is where it's on us. Well, really you. I'm in Thailand. You guys are in America and Europe, right? And a lot of times you motherfuckers come here and find women who will, like her, who will disrespect you, and you will stick around. And that's another live stream that I've done several days ago, right? Reviewing a video of a failed passport bro, which is a lot here. A lot of these guys come here and do not self-improve. They still have no self-respect. They still simp for women, and they end up in the same situation. So this is why, when I teach men how to come here, how to make that move, because a lot of men go like, well, listen, what are our choices? We can either continue simping for women like this and be disrespectful, or we just stop dating altogether. And I know a lot of you have decided to stop dating altogether. I know it's literally profitable. I know that most of you who don't date women anymore have so much more money and free time and so much less stress. I get it. But at the end of the day, you do want to, at the very least, have choices. At the very least, have choices for sex partners and multiple sex partners, right? But a lot of you still want to have a wife and children. That's not going to happen in America. And this is why I've created this the millionmanproject.com courses, where you can find out how you can literally, as an average Joe in America, change your life and move to another country, have access to sex, have access to wife material women, or just date multiple women, and just that's how it is for the rest of your life, if you would like. It is a paradise here. Plus, the life here is just better healthcare, better, definitely pretty much no crime. Weather is always good, amazing beaches. I mean, I live in Bangkok. It's a bottomless pit of entertainment and just freaking amazing life. So if you're interested, let me tell you a little bit about it real quick. If you want to ditch modern women and move abroad for more traditional relationships, go to themillionmanproject.com, take my most comprehensive course, and change your life. Yeah, that guy's not lying. This will change your life like it did mine and many other people. But like I said, this is why I always preach, and it's part of my course. You need to first identify what good women are, because a lot of you guys don't know. Like a lot of you might be watching videos saying, yeah, well, that's how it is. That's how women tell you they're not interested anymore by disrespecting you, and that's okay. No, that should not be okay. And secondly, you need to work on yourself. You need to work on yourself before you show up here so you have much better results.
So I have created a way through life of ghosting someone, but making that person feel like it was their decision. So like it's not that bad.
Well, first of all, it's always that bad, and she doesn't really seem to understand it. But secondly, there's a better way to reject a man, right? Without making him feel bad. Disrespecting him should not be a solution for that. I can literally uh, come up with about a million ways how you can politely turn someone down, which I do here all the time. By the way, guys, you have to turn down women here all the time because there's just too many of them who are interested. So, and I do it very. It's the other day, right? A girl tried to match with me on a local dating app. I only used one local dating app called Thai Friendly. I don't use Tinder or Bumble. It's a waste of time anywhere in the world, really. Anyway, so I use Thai Friendly, and honestly, that's another thing. It's just like waste so much time anyway. But this one girl tried to match with me, and she liked my profile, and she sent me the first message, which again, paradise here. So I and she said, hi, how are you? And I looked at her pictures. I just wasn't attracted to her. I just wasn't. And I said, hey, listen, I'm doing good. How are you? Um, I don't want to waste your time. I just want to let you know that, I looked at your profile and I don't think we're a good match, but you sound like a great girl and I really wish you well. I mean, and she said, thank you. I really appreciate you not wasting my time, and, goodbye. And off she went. Didn't hurt her feelings, right? Didn't really tell her exactly why, because I don't want to tell her, you're not good looking enough for me, and off she went to, without ruining her day, while being very much respectful, which is a thing here. That's one of the greatest things that I enjoy here, just overall respect from people, from one human being to another, something that's just no longer a thing in America. Um, so it is very easy, and especially on text you can of course reject people in person if you want, if that's the situation, but it's not that hard. And women, it's just whenever women have to take any type of responsibility or any type of effort into being good human beings, they usually pass on it. But by women I mean of course Western women. So it sounds like she does not even realize that she can just be a decent human being with almost no effort.
On them. You know what I mean? Like I don't reject them. I make sure they don't feel rejected. This is so bad.
This is so bad. Like she's not even covering it. And look, she's going to tell you about this elaborate scheme on how to do this, and it's going to take several days. Why are you wasting your time? Your own time. You're wasting your own time for what? Because you cannot think of this 5 second to 10-second message that you can just type to a guy and be done. It is unbelievable. And just the level of manipulation, right? Women just love to manipulate men because most of you guys are easily manipulated.
just gonna tell you what I do. So by the way, if you do an Irish goodbye at parties, which that's what I like to do, I don't like to like go to every table or every person and be like, bye, it was good seeing you too. Oh my God. I hate that. Like
Yeah, so if you guys don't know, Irish goodbye is where you go to an event and then you want to leave and you just fucking leave. And you don't go to people who you know and say, hey, listen, it was good to see you, or it was very nice meeting you, or whatever. You basically said, fuck all of you, I'm ready to go home, and you bail, right? Again, this is another, like, she's actually right. This is another way of kind of ghosting people in person, I guess, within the setting of an event. Why wouldn't you not do it, right? I mean, if you are associated with people at this event and you hate them so much or dislike them so much where you don't even want to bother saying goodbye, it was nice seeing you. Why are you at this event? Why are you associated with these people, right? But most importantly, it is still not okay. And what is this? It takes about 5 minutes, even if you know so many people just saying, like, by the way, here it's, well, in America, you can just say, here we say, buy this way. That's all. You can wave from the far away if you maybe not the best of friends. Like, the little amount of effort that uh, you have to put in not to be a shitty human being is just worth it. And yet women just don't get it. They are, I probably should take this back. They get it. They just don't give a fuck. So, but okay, let's go on.
I do. So if you do Irish goodbyes, don't hate me for ghosting. It's the same thing. You're ghosting people at a party, Irish goodbye, same.
Yeah, it is the same thing, and it's amazing how she believes that not only it's okay, she should teach other people how to be a shitty human being, right? Let's hear it out.
Thing. So usually when I'm gonna ghost someone, it's because we both kind of know the relationship's not going anywhere. It's not gonna make it, but no one's willing to like do it.
So that's not true. And this is why these women are usually so delusional. They cannot read the room. Usually, when a guy gets ghosted, the reason we use that word is because he didn't realize that something was wrong, right? I got to tell you, I'm quite sensitive to it. And when somebody ghosts me, which again happens still all the time, even here, I usually go back and I go like, what happened, right? And it's almost never there's a clear answer. Now I'll give you an example. So I got ghosted by this girl I already had a date set up with, and we had a conversation back and forth almost all day, which really normally I wouldn't do, but it was really flowing and I was really enjoying it, actually. And it wasn't taking that much time. So I did talk to her for about, 1 day worth of messages. And and then she stopped replying, and I went back, and we were talking about, like, I asked her if she works out, which is a problem here because most women are skinny here, and therefore they don't think they should go to the gym. Now, in reality, first of all, the gym is for your health. It is for your mental health and for your mental sharpness, right? If you go to the gym and you exercise, you get benefits way beyond just having a perky butt and a flat stomach, right? And toned legs. And to me, it's a problem. If I'm dating someone, she needs to go, so that's why I asked. But on the other hand, it's kind of like, I like skinny girls. But I like skinny fit girls, right? Nothing worse to me is to see a pair of skinny legs that are still for some reason flapping around. Or same thing with stomach. So I like toned girls. And I like girls who take care of their health. So I was talking to her and I asked her, listen, like, do you watch workout? She said, no. I said, ask you, do you have any tattoos and piercings? She said, no, which is great. And then she said, like, but I did do a nose job. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, and she's 23. It's, by the way, I'm almost 50. And majority of women that I talk to are in their 20s. That's the beauty of here. Like, and by the way, this girl, the reason I was really filtering her out is because I want to make sure that this girl is not a gold digger. She's not used to getting money out of foreigners and all of that stuff. So it takes a little bit of time to make sure that of that. But she didn't even ask for money in any way. She didn't ask for, like a lot of girls do here. She didn't ask me to pay for a taxi or whatever. So cleared of all charges in terms of possibly being a gold digger. And I said, well, why did you do that? That's the answer why you can date a girl who is half your age here and she will genuinely want. And I always ask them, why do you want to date an older man? And she gave me a perfect answer to that. So 23. I said, well, why did you have a nose job at 23? Obviously before 23. And she's like, well, I just wanted to look better. I said, sure. But since we're on the subject, a free way to look better would be to go to the gym. And she said, okay. And then she ghosted me, right? Now, again, why make an enemy? Let's say she decided, like, this little motherfucker, you know what I mean? He's obviously is going to make me go to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym, so fuck him, right? So instead of saying, hey, listen, I'm not really feeling it, I don't really want to talk anymore, or let's cancel the date. Instead, she decided, like, I'm just going to ghost him, even though we have a date schedule, right? Now I do have to say that women here generally feel much safer than women in America, and they don't even know how safe they are. Women here are very safe. You can walk down any dark little alley anywhere in Thailand pretty much at any time at night, and you will be safe as a woman 99.999% of the time. Of course, things happen sometimes, but generally speaking, it is extremely safe. And this is one of the things that I enjoy here in Thailand. Not only my own safety, right? Like in America, I never felt safe. I actually ended up getting my concealed carry license, and I've carried a gun with me at pretty much all times. And I don't even like guns. Here, not only I feel safe, I feel safe for the women I date, right? When they're going home, I'm not worried like every time I would in America. Will she make it, right? Is that Uber driver okay? Is going from her car to her apartment door, is just going to get snatched up? Or, here I don't have to worry about it, and it is a perk because I do worry about women genuinely, and I believe it's my job to protect them if we're in any type of relationship. And it's much easier here because there's not much to protect them from. Um, so that's one of many reasons why I enjoy it here. But again, just I'm trying to answer general question: why do women ghost? The answer is because they don't know any better anymore, and they don't have to. Right? There is no punishment yet. Like I said, I think there will be a major backlash from men in general, especially men who are a little too desperate, maybe willing to resort to some stuff that I definitely don't want to encourage. So I think that's just going to happen naturally, unfortunately, and who knows what's going to happen after that. It's just going to be bad, I think. But and there's no punishment because there's plenty of other men who are willing to do this. Now, I also go back and I say, well, how did I not see this coming? But again, when you talk to a girl, like what, 10, 15 minutes worth of total conversation over 1 or 2 day period, it is almost impossible to tell, is she a shitty human being, because a lot of them don't even know they're being shitty by ghosting. Like this girl has no clue.
Right? No one's willing to end it. So here's how you do it. Here's the rules. The next fight you have, it's got to be like their fault. Okay? So make sure it's their fault.
Wow. I mean, it's amazing that not only she's not embarrassed to think this way, she's not embarrassed to say it out loud, and she's not embarrassed to say it out loud while the camera is rolling. And then she's not embarrassed to say it out loud while the camera is rolling and then posting it on social media, right? It is amazing. Now, full disclosure, every time I do a response video or a reaction video, which I do every day, I stream live every day. I always ask the person in the video, can I interview you? Right? Because it's great to do a reaction like this, but I would love to talk to her and ask her, like, do you even understand this is shitty behavior, right? Can you think of other ways to maybe not be shitty? Like I would love to ask that because that you can get some really interesting information. But at the end of the day, um, it is embarrassing that she's just kind of already count, like, to her it's normal. Oh, we're gonna have a fight soon. If I'm in a relationship, we're gonna have a fight soon. What the fuck? Like, honestly, if you're with a girl where a fight is always like, oh yeah, that we're gonna have a fight pretty soon, right? Why are you with that girl? The number one reason to be with a woman, have her permanently or semi-permanently in your life, or at least consistently in your life, is for her to give you peace. Fighting is literally the opposite of peace. So if you fight very often with a girl, you should not be with her. Have some self-respect. So it looks like for her it's perfectly normal. Yeah, we're just going to have a fight, and it's going to be his fault. That's another thing, right? Guys, if you come here and you date the traditional women here, not the hoes that you see on social media talking, in the passport bro videos. No, actual real Southeast Asian women, or South American women, whichever country you pick. And I help you pick the country for yourself in my course. So don't forget to check it out. I put the link in the bio. You know, when it's hello. There's so many thoughts in my head. I lost the train of my thought because let's just keep going.
They got mad at you that you went out with your friends.
Now I remembered it as soon as I heard her voice. Where I was going with this was that women here don't really fight with you if you pick the right girl, right? They are submissive, right? And if you have a fight, they're most likely going to be upset with themselves that they have upset their men, right? So this is like unbelievably stupid way of thinking as far as a lot of these women are concerned. Like, why would I fight with my man? And if I do, I am disappointed myself that I have not been able to keep peace in this family, which is my job as a woman, right? This is why you can't date women like this. You cannot date American women or Western women, whether in America or Europe or right here in Thailand. I see a lot of guys come here and date the same type of women. Most of the time I sit at a coffee shop working on my computer in a mall, okay? And I hear a lot of conversations. I see a lot of people pass by. And how many times I would see a foreigner with a Thai girl, sit next to me and fucking argue. And she would nag him. And I would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You came here to Thailand, you got yourself a Thai girl, and you picked the worst one? The one that will actually nag and argue with you when there's countries full of women who are submissive and kind and know when to shut the fuck up. How did you pick the one that's going to be exactly the same as American women like this? And it's because before coming in, these guys just show up. They show up fat, having no self-respect, having no an idea of having boundaries with women and what even good women are. To me, if a woman nags or starts a fight, goodbye, goodbye. You've already failed at your number one job, which is giving me peace. And then not only this girl saying, well, we're going to have a fight soon, obviously, and then it's going to be his fault. Like it's just a normal thing to do, where it is should be a deal breaker for any man to be with a girl like this. And yet, I guarantee you, there's tons of I know there's tons of comments in just in this video saying, "Oh yeah, girl, thing, go girl, you this is how we should handle these," and then there will be guys simping for her in the same video where she's teaching other women how to be shitty to men. That's how pathetic the situation is in America. And again, it's on you guys.
So they start angry, texting you all night long. Don't respond. You're thinking.
That's another thing. Do not get angry with women. There's just it's not even worth it. Do not get angry with women. Because before you get angry with anything, right, you essentially usually the one step before that is disappointment, right? As soon as you're disappointed with a woman, you should leave. I mean, you should the first time you should mention it. And by the way, never a lot of women will try to gaslight you. It's like, oh, you mad at me? No, sweetheart, you're just not worth being mad at, right? Unless we've been married for 10 fucking years, you're just not worth it. I'm disappointed. Now, if it's a good woman, if it's a good traditional woman, there's nothing worse you can say to her, you know, than that you're disappointed with her, that she disappointed you. This is the worst thing. Some of these women would rather be like hit by a man. Don't do it again, but they would literally like some women here told me like I can you hit me? Like not kidding, right? Because they would rather have that than men say and feel that they're disappointed in them. That's when you know you're with the right girl, right? Is that the worst thing you can do to her is to tell her you're disappointed, that she disappointed you. Not these bitches. They don't give a fuck, right? They do not give a fuck.
Thinking, perfect. Here we go. Here's the setup. Here's the pitch. He's literally lining it up for you. Perfect. Let him. And then do not respond to anything for days, because it's going to start very aggressive, like any toxic relationship. Like, why aren't you calling me back? This and that. Then
Yeah, and this is where you guys go wrong. You simp for this woman. If you're disappointed with a woman, you let her know you're disappointed and you stop talking to her. There's no reason to be angry. There's no reason to send all these messages. And honestly, at that point, it's probably one of the few times when it's maybe tiny bit be okay if someone's just angrily fucking insulting you or whatever for a long period of time. You're like, well, I'm just going to stop talking to this person, right? Just walking away. But if you have to be this angry, you have some self-improvement to do as a man. You should never get angry with a woman. And if you ever do, that's where you walk away yourself, and there's no reason to talk anymore or scream and yell. Or that's whatever bullshit you guys do. You have to have self-control in addition to having self-respect. And a lot of you guys don't. A lot of you guys don't. This is why you need to, this is why I wrote the millionmanproject.com, because there's a lot of self-improvement that almost every single man in America now has to do before he's even qualified to date a real traditional woman who is a good wife. Most of you do not deserve wives because you're used to women like this, and you accept them and you accept their behavior and you continue to simp for them. And thus this problem, and that's why my channel exists, right?
And it's going to get to like, where are you at? Like, why are you not talking to me? That's when.
Desperate.
Okay? Around that time is when you respond with, I was honestly shocked at how you responded to me and treated me. Period. Not cool. Period. After that, they're going to respond with something like, I am sorry. I hope you could forgive me. Usually by this point,
Now, her response is actually not unreasonable, but the fact that she automatically expects a man. Now, again, I do not condone men fucking being angry and, just sending a million messages and being, that's not acceptable as a man. But the fact that, once again, she is used to you guys, the simps in America and Europe, where if a woman basically tells you, like, don't do it anymore, stop, whatever, they absolutely 100% believe that you will apologize and you will admit fault, even though it's not your fault, right? I mean, let's face it, most of the fights in relationships is because of the girl is just is having either no respect for you and you had enough, or it is usually something that she does that's out of line. Now, do things happen the other way around? Yes, but if you're a good man, right, and you are in a gender role relationship, and if there's a fight, usually, it's a fault of a girl. Now, don't get me wrong. I am very much aware that I just schooled her for assuming that it's always going to be his fault, right? But that's not because these women think that it's his fault. She's basically going to gaslight him into thinking it's his fault. And as a simp that he was, it looks like, or acts as or whatever, and a lot of you guys, the first reaction, oh, I'm sorry, baby, I'm not going to do this again. That's pathetic. It's pathetic. If you did not do anything wrong and you're apologizing just to keep peace, which is, again, not your job but hers, you're a pathetic loser who will always be stuck with women like this. You need to self-improve.
they are like dry as a Sahara desert, that you have not even reached out to them or whatever. So they're probably begging at this point, and they're very mortified and just feel horrible. So their text is probably gonna be like, I don't expect you to forgive me, but I hope you do. You never respond back.
What a pathetic behavior. If you're sending messages like this to a woman, no matter what happens, you're a pathetic loser. And I can't, right? I'm just advising you to stop dating and improve yourself. Find your balls, find some self-respect, and improve. And this is very important that a lot of guys don't understand. If you're in a relationship where you believe that she needs you more than you need her, you're in the wrong relationship. It can't even be 50-50, because in a gender role relationship, a man gives to a woman so much more than she gives back, even though it's important what she gives back, right? But pretty much 99.9% of the time in a gender role relationship, a man provides so much more for a woman. I don't mean just money wise, but of course money wise, than she provides for him. So if you're in a relationship where you need her more than she needs you, you're in the wrong relationship. Or again, you need some self-improvement. Because don't forget, at the end of the day, if you look at a single man and a single woman, uh, we're not meant to be single. This whole thing is, I love being single. Like, listen, let's cut all of that bullshit out. Yes, maybe it's better being single, as a man, it's better being single in America right now than dealing with this fucking mess. But that's not the best choice, right? This is why I believe you guys should all get the fuck up and move here to Southeast Asia or South America, right? This is why my channel is called the Million Man Project. I hope one day I can help a million men get the fuck out of America and Europe and go somewhere where they're wanted and appreciated after some self improvement. It is essential.
That's the end of your relationship. And again, I'm not saying this is healthy, but if you do Irish goodbye.
She admits that what she's suggesting to other women is not healthy. And yet she is suggesting it. Like, do you understand and comprehend the level of delusion and also a healthy dose of evil that's just already automatically baked into Western women? And they're not changing. They're not changing. I told you guys a million times, when these women come here to live here in Thailand, then they see what it takes to earn a man here. You're right, because they see all the Thai women walking around with men that they want, and they don't change. I already did an episode. I did 2 episodes right back to back about how when Western women come here and they come to the world where men like me have choices between them, between submissive traditional women, between many other types of women, where a lot of women actually recognize the value of a good man and a potential husband. These women have no chance. No chance. Most of them either live out their lives here single, but most of the time they leave. As a matter of fact, a lot of times when a Western couple moves here, sooner or later a husband catches on and sees, oh my God, I brought some trash in here, and they divorce their wives here and start dating Thai women. Now, are all Thai women the most amazing women in the world? No. We have plenty of hoes, we have plenty of gold diggers, we have plenty of women like her. And unfortunately, that's the type of women that most foreigners end up with, because they still don't know any better. They have not improved themselves before coming here, and they end up with the same women. Now, before I think there's a conclusion there, really quick. Before that, let me take a quick peek into the chat and answer this question or comment. If we want to use dating apps, we can use them only in Asia, and even then, only if we already learn the culture of Asians. Yes, yes and no, because Tinder and Bumble are just useless. And here, if you use Tinder, Bumble, you can use it to hook up, but it is still not worth it. There are way better ways to hook up here. So going through the Tinder, a lot of times the girls who are on Tinder are westernized girls. Um, Again, lowest quality of women you can get here, especially if you're already here in Southeast Asia. So I don't even have Tinder or Bumble installed here, right? Uh, Using local apps are okay, you know, but generally speaking, you said we can use them only here in Asia. Yeah, I mean, like, well, listen, that's what I'm saying. You should only live here in Asia or South America, right? I mean, this is my whole point: is that don't just get out of where you're at. You're not going to have you're not going to be able to marry or have a long-term relationship with a good wife material woman anymore in America or Europe. If I thought there was even a tiny little chance, because I've always done well with women. Luckily, most women consider me a good-looking guy. Luckily, I've always earned good money. I stayed in shape. I don't have a problem, talking and having a personality. I dress well. I've never had problems with women. So if guys like me even go like, yeah, that's great, but I don't think I can definitely tell that I cannot find a good girl here in America anymore. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the culture I knew, my parents, my friends, the places I love, the language, all of that. I'm going to give all of that up just so I can move to another country, so I have better choice of women, including potential wives. And you don't get it in America. This is why I encourage all of you guys to just basically go to the Million Man Project. This is the only I believe this. When I was designing it, I wasn't going to design it if it wasn't the most comprehensive guide for you guys to figure everything out. And half of my guide there, if you go look at the table of contents there, which is free, you will see that half of my guide has nothing to do with dating. It has to do with the logistics on how you come here, because you should not come here just for women. Yeah, yes, this is definitely the reason to get the fuck out of America, but that's not all of the reasons to stay here, right? Like I mentioned, the lack of crime. I already mentioned the great healthcare and amazing, delicious food. It's definitely much more affordable here. So there's many reasons, and this is why part of my guide is where you need to pick the country for you. You need to pick the country that works for you, because in some it, of course you want to pick them by type of women that you want to date, but also to me, even though the the women that I'm attracted the most are black women, and there's not that many of them here in Thailand. But I also wanted to live an amazing life, right? I only have one life to live, and I'm in its second half. So why not live an amazing second part of your life? And I cannot think of a better place than here. There are other places. There are definitely other places that you can absolutely find amazing home at. Your life will be a much more improved life. But of course, your dating life will just be drastically different from the moment you get off the plane, because your dating apps will start blowing up.
Advice: if you don't like breakups, this is the formula. Okay, it's not for everybody, but it's for somebody. So that's my advice.
Horrible advice from a horrible human being, which most women are nowadays. Most Western or Westernized women are nowadays. It's very unfortunate, but this is why I want to make videos like this, because don't be fooled by this. Because this is essentially gaslighting, right? This is basically telling you guys this is just normal. Oh, absolutely, this is just how you do it. No, again, cannot stress enough, if you don't feel disrespected when you're being ghosted, you don't have enough self-respect, or maybe you don't know what respect is as a man. If somebody is ghosting you, this is absolutely one of the highest levels of disrespect, and please take it as such. Now, as I mentioned earlier, it's weird because she's definitely coming across as a shitty human being and a type of a woman that I suggest all of you run away from by moving out of America. But tomorrow, I'm going to review 3 of her other videos on her channel, which she actually raises really good questions for women and men, and more in a kind of a red pill type of the context. So those are quite surprising videos from a Western female who apparently thinks ghosting is okay. So tomorrow we're gonna review that, and I hope to see you guys here at the same time. I live stream at noon here in Bangkok time. I believe it's 10 a.m., 10 p.m. Western time. I'm gonna try to get up earlier because I've been streaming for only like about 3 weeks now, but I do it every day. So I'm gonna try to go earlier. But I always repost my live stream, so you can, of course, join and comment in the comment section once the live stream is over. So thanks for hanging out with me. Like I said, you're gonna see her tomorrow in 3, not 1, 3 videos that I'm going to react to, because she brings up some really good points there. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.